Hi guys, welcome to QA Prayogshala. So guys, in today's session, we'll uh, we'll be starting a new series that is the basics of Java. Okay, for absolute beginners. And for that, this is the very first episode. And in this, we'll see the history of Java. Okay, so this will be really a very interesting episode wherein we'll uh, explore the facts why Java language was introduced, what were the reasons that led the developers to design a completely new language that is Java. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's get started. So, guys, it is about in the 90s. Okay, in the 1990s, there was a company named as a Sun Micro System. Okay, and they actually started a project that was named Still. Okay, and that was later named renamed as a Green Project. Okay, so the idea of the project was very simple, guys. In today's era, technological era, if you see, right, it may seem very pretty common, okay, but in those days, it was really a very big thing, okay. So idea was something like this. The idea was, let's say there are certain electronic devices, like let's say there is an AC, there is an television, okay, and let's say there are some more electronic devices are there, okay. So idea was to control all these devices through the remote control, okay, through the central remote. All these devices should get controlled, okay. So that was the basic idea that was in the mind of the Sun Micro system in the Still project, okay. So now the challenge was, okay, how to do this, how to achieve this thing. Okay, so basically, if you see, right, certain engineers like Patrick Norton and Bill Joy and so on, they were the part of this project. Okay, now out of all these engineers, there was one guy named as James Gosling. Okay, and he was given the task of finding a programming language for the project. Okay, the task was to find the language that could achieve this objective of remote controlling all these electronic devices. Okay, so back then and today also we have one language called as a C++. Okay, so he commenced with C++ initially. Okay, to achieve this objective. Okay, but in the midway, he actually found that the C++ it was quite inadequate for the task. Okay, now he found that C++ is not appropriate actually to achieve this objective. Okay, because the end objective was to remote control the device, and for that they need to embed the software within the consumer electronic devices, right? So if you see, right, if we take a very basic example nowadays, okay, we have a remote control TV is pretty common, right? So in the remote control TV, if you see, right, if I give you one basic thing, then we have one transmitter and we have one receiver. Okay, so in the remote control, there would be one transmitter through which infrared waves would be sent to the receiving end, right? So there has to be some receiver, okay, on the TV. Okay, then and then only TV could receive the commands that whatever we are sending to it, like let's say changing the channel, then increasing, decreasing the volume of the remote, and so on and so forth. Right? Nowadays there are so many functions are available, but the basic thing is there has to be some transmitter, okay, and there has to be some sort of receiver through which we can actually receive the signals. Okay, so for that, actually, right, there has to be some chip, right, that has to be present, okay, on the remote as well and also on the TV as well. So somehow we found that C++ it was not appropriate for the task given. Now let us find out what were the shortcomings of C++, right? What was that thing that was missing in C++? Okay. So the number one thing, guys, was the C++ was bit complex. Okay, C++ language, it was bit complex language according to Gosling. Okay, and due to this, he had a fear that this might lead to some development errors. Okay, since this language is difficult, and there are high chances that it could lead to the developmental errors, and because of that, it could lead the fault in the electronic devices also, right? That was the fear that he had in his mind. So this was the very first reason. Okay, he thought that it is bit complex. Okay, so that was the very first reason. Second reason was C++, it didn't have any inbuilt garbage collection facility. Okay, so C++, it did not have any inbuilt garbage collection facility. Okay, so let me tell you in brief. Okay, we'll see this in the next episodes. Okay, that what is the garbage collection and all. But let me tell you in brief. So in Java, okay, if you see in Java, if you see, we have a mechanism called as a garbage collection. Okay, so garbage collection is a mechanism. What it does is it will automatically unallocate those sections of memory, okay, that are no longer used by the program. Okay, so any of you, if you have worked with C++ or you have studied this in your colleges, then you might have come across this topic that there is a concept called as a memory management. Okay, so according to this concept, what needs to be done is we need to allocate some part of memory to a program. Okay, and that has to be done manually. Okay, and once we utilize that section of a program, we need to also unallocate the memory. Okay, so that has to be done manually in C++. So this was the second issue I found, right? That it did not have any inbuilt garbage collection facility. Okay, so programmers, they have to manage memory themselves. And believe me, guys, this is not that simple. Okay, allocation and deallocation of memory. Okay, it requires a really very thorough calculation. Okay, and if you don't manage it carefully, then it might lead to memory leakages, and that will lead to so many problems. Okay, in the real world. So this was the second issue. Also, if you see, right, C++ also lacked the portable facilities as far as security and distributed programming was concerned. Okay. Now, security was also one of the factor. Okay, because if you see, security has to be there. Okay, not anyone should be able to remote control this electronic devices, else there could be an issue. Okay, so security was also one of the issue that he found, and also C++ it did not support multi-threading. Okay, so multi-threading is the concept wherein what happens is, let's say if two or more uh, person wants to access the same thing at the same point in time, then multi-threading is the concept which allows the people to do so. Okay, so in C++, there was not any facility of multi-threading. So this was also the issue. Okay. So these were the four different issues that he found that because of that C++ was not suitable. Okay. Now what Gosling tried is he tried to modify C++. Okay, to meet the needs of the project. Initially did that, and that language he renamed it as C 4 times plus and something like that. Okay, he tried that initially. Okay, so what he did is let me modify the language, Gosling said. Okay, and so that it meets my needs. But in the midway, he dropped this idea as well. Okay, he dropped this idea. The reason could be you might have found that it is becoming bit complex, okay, to modify C++. So what he did instead is, okay, he started developing a new programming language. Okay, he started developing a new programming language that could meet the need of this project. Okay, and this new programming language, okay, that he called Oak. So initially, okay, it was not named as Java, but initially he called this new language as Oak. Okay, and that there is also one reason for that, because outside his office window there was one oak tree, and in honor of that he named this programming language as Oak programming language. Okay, now, if you see, right, Awk language has to possess certain features. Okay, it has to possess certain features. Okay, because of that only this new language was introduced. Okay, now the very first thing is, okay, this consumer electronic devices, they were manufactured by a variety of manufacturers. Okay, like might be Sony, then Samsung, and so on, right? So on and so forth. We don't know the exact brand names, but basically they were developed. They were actually developed by a variety of manufacturers. So here the main thing is di- uh, platform would be different, okay, for all of these devices. Okay, so the main thing is this language has to be platform independent. Okay, and it should work in a flawless manner irrespective of the type of CPU. So whatever might be the CPU, it should work flawless. Also, it has to be platform independent. Okay, it cannot be platform dependent. Okay, so this was the very first thing. Okay, so let us see, okay, what were the features that were required in the of language or in the Java language. Okay, that was later renamed as Java. So the very first feature, okay, it should possess is it has to be platform independent. Okay, it cannot be platform dependent. Okay, because since there were many manufacturers that were developing the electronic devices, and platform would be different. Okay, for each of this device, so it has to be platform independent. Okay, so whatever code, it should run equally well in each and every platform. It cannot be platform dependent. Okay, so it has to be platform independent. That was the very first feature that was required. Second was Oak had to be simple and reliable language. Okay, because as we saw earlier, right, C++, he found that it is bit complex. So very first thing is it has to be very simple and a reliable language. Okay, it has to be simple language. Secondly, because of that, what would happen is there would be less errors. Okay, that there are less chances of errors if the language is simple. Okay, so owing to this, what happened is he removed certain features, certain complex features that he found from the Java language, like operator overloading and multiple inheritance. There were these features were removed from the Java language. Also, to avoid the errors, okay, uh, Java language has to have the inbuilt garbage collection mechanism. So we'll see in the next episodes that there is one feature of Java which is garbage collection. So this is the automatic memory allocation and deallocation. Okay, you don't need to manually do it. Okay, so that is one of the feature of Java. Also, Java language has to be very secure, okay, since it was to be installed in the various devices and has to communicate with each other. Okay, so this was the history of the Java language, guys. How Java language was introduced and what were the reasons for that. I hope you found this useful. Okay, and I'll see you in the next session. We'll discuss more on the features of the Java in the next episode. Till then, take care and goodbye.